Habs, the Montreal Canadiens. They are hockey's richest tradition. And last year, they added to their own mystique by winning a record 23rd Stanley Cup. The MVP of that series, Patrick Waugh. For the New York Rangers, years of frustration. The Big Apple has not been home of the Stanley Cup in 53 years. But new coach Mike Keenan has a new attitude. And they've turned up the hockey heat in the city that never sleeps. The Rangers are in first place. They are hockey's hottest team. If the Canadiens are to repeat, the road to the Cup may go through Madison Square Garden. Patrick Waugh thrives on that. And welcome to Madison Square Garden in New York for 68 years. New York Ranger tradition at the old and now the new Garden. And another of the original 6 teams here tonight, the Montreal Canadiens. Hello, everybody. Gary Thorne, Bill Clement, and welcome. The Rangers red hot. And Bill, this is Mike Keenan's team.
Well, Gary, as you so accurately pointed out, the Rangers are a strong hockey team this year. They have 3 balanced scoring lines, and they have size to go with that balance. Besides that, they're playing so well defensively, and they're getting good goaltending from Mike Richter. So that is what the players bring to the ice surface. But what do they bring because Mike Keenan is behind the bench? They bring hitting. That is a trademark of a Mike Keenan team. They run over people. So what does Montreal do with a small team? Well, you may not be familiar with the names Mario Roberge and Donald Brashear right now. That's why you got to stay tuned, because these are big guys that Jacques Demers has in the lineup to try to counteract the big Rangers lineup.
And Bill, it may be interesting 8th day of the official strike tonight. If we see a physical game, maybe we'll see just how far these officials can go in replacing the regulars. And the man who'll be in net tonight for the Montreal Canadiens, he led them last season in the playoffs. The MVP won the Conn Smythe. When he plays well, they do. If he does not, they don't either.
Hi, everyone. I'm Steve Levy. Welcome back to our National Hockey Night studios. Rangers and Canadiens from the Garden in New York. That's coming up shortly. But first, there is strike news as we enter Week 2, Day 9 of the on-ice officials being on strike. As always, joining me here in the studio, Jim Schoenfeld and Al Morganti. Al, you have an update on the news from both sides.
Yes, spoke with both sides. Now, Don Meehan, the chief negotiator for the officials, says that they're getting closer and that if they can get some kind of benefits package together, they may be able to get a deal with the league because they're getting closer to the salary. They would accept the salary the league wanted if they get some benefits packages. However, I just spoke with Jeff Pash from the NHL. He's not hearing the same thing from the union. They met in Buffalo and in Hartford over the weekend. In Toronto today, there was the press conference from the official side. The league, if this is indeed true, that they're going to make some concessions in the benefits from the official side, they're meeting again tomorrow. They will speak tomorrow. So it looks like there's movements. If this is settled, it'll be settled on 2 fronts. One, the length of the contract. The officials want 3, the NHL is now offering 4, and the benefits package.
All right, fair enough. We will have much more coming up in our first intermission. The Rangers and Canadiens, they're coming up from Madison Square Garden. Jim Schoenfeld will have analysis of what else is going on around the NHL tonight with 3 other games. But it's the Habs and the Have-Nots from the Garden in New York coming up on National Hockey Night.
ESPN's National Hockey Night is brought to you by the New Dodge, a division of the Chrysler Corporation. By Bud Light. If you want great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light. And by Burger King and its everyday value menu, where you can have it your way. I love this place.
And Madison Square Garden fills up here tonight as the New York Rangers take on the Canadiens for the second time this season. They played once before here, the end of October, and ended up in a 3-3 tie. Patrick Waugh was in that game, and he's in again. 17 starts, 18 games played out of the 20. You see the fantastic numbers, that save percentage, number 1 in the National Hockey League right now. At the other end, a man who's made a difference, Mike Richter.
Mike Richter is clearly the number 1 man for the New York Rangers. Mike Keenan said today, all I have to do is tell him that he's number 1, and he plays as if he is the number 1 guy. He is that easy to motivate.
He has 17 starts. This is his 18th, 15th consecutive start in net for Richter. Kurt Muller on the faceoff wins it, and we are underway. The Canadiens and the New York Rangers. Rangers have not lost in the last 12 games. They are 10-0-2. Right in the middle. Shot Damphus deflected out wide. Damphus, Lehman, and Muller on the first line. There is Leach putting the check on in the corner. Over is Messier. Foy runs into Kirk Muller, and they both get down on the far side. Michael Foy, one of the substitute refs working tonight. Dennis Shales and Scott Adams will be out there tonight as linesmen. Muller in, fakes it. Kurt Muller passed up the shot and then got dumped by Bukaboom. Puck cleared over the glass and into the seats.
You have to know that Patrick Waugh will be a key guy in the lineup for the Montreal Canadiens. And, you know, for all the sports fans that say no athlete is worth $4 million a year, Patrick Waugh has come as close as anybody can to earning his $4 million a year so far. The Montreal Canadiens are having a terrible time scoring goals. They average fewer than 3 per game, 2.90. And check the New York Rangers. They are 12, 1, and 2 when allowing 3 goals or less. The Canadiens will have to win this game 2-1, 3-2, low score.
19th in offense, the Montreal Canadiens coming into tonight's game. Point shot taken. Richter makes the save, and it bounces wide. Good opportunity for Matthew Schneider, who gunned that in from the point. Esa Tikkanen, who's red hot, brings it in offside. Amati on the near side. Tikkanen with 12 goals, 12 assists, tied with Brian Leetch for the team lead with 24 points. Well, he's had a lot of people out, hasn't he?
He's got too many people out. Jacques Demers told me before the game, Gary, that there is a very small margin for error with his team, and he maintains there was last year, and I believe him. They had to mount a tremendous wave going into the playoffs to win the Stanley Cup. Just because they're the Stanley Cup defending champions doesn't mean they're the favorites right now.
Kovalev, the shot, Waugh, the save, rebound, Tikkanen could not knock it in. And there's Patrick Waugh doing what he does best. Mike Keane tipped it into the zone. Leach trying to clear it up, could not. Held in by the Canadiens. They've got Keane in front. Shot deflected as Keane was there all by himself, but Dion could not get it through. What a chance at the other end for Kovalev. Kovalev, the 20-year-old, broke in and was all alone on Patrick Waugh. Rangers in their own end can't get it by Dion. Check put on the far side. Held in Paul DiPietro. DiPietro back for Dion. Tried to center. Bounces into the corner. Esa Tikkanen went after it. He puts the hard hit on DiPietro, who went down. Behind the net, it is loose. Keane couldn't get it. Esa Tikkanen went right by him, and the Rangers started up ice. Amati's got it. Tony Amati drops it in offside again. The Rangers on the near side that time. Alexei Kovalev.
Well, you know, the Rangers are going to have to offset the New York Rangers' size in their hitting, Gary, with what we just saw in the offensive zone. A lot of quickness. That is what Montreal has. And, boy, if you're not big, you'd better have quickness or you don't have anything.
There you see Alexei Kovalev, who's picked up 4 goals, 11 assists, playing at a -1 coming into tonight's game, but he is quick.
Well, Mike Keenan has said before the game that the only other team that had this much balance in scoring, meaning 3 lines that could score, and Kovalev is definitely a part of it. He's actually lined up on what you could call a 4th line tonight. But the last time Keenan had this much 3-line scoring balance, it was not even in the NHL. It was back in Rochester in the American League when he won a championship in the American League.
Joey Kosar with a checking line for the Rangers, getting the opportunity. Couldn't back in front. Leach holds it in. Brian Leach tipped in front on Waugh, and he covers up. Patrick Waugh hanging on as Mike Hudson, who missed the first 16 because of an injury, back in action, almost got one.
Well, we talked about the New York Rangers hitting. Number 15 of the Canadiens, Paul DiPietro, had 2 of them on this one. Esa Tikkanen and Alexei Kovalev. And you know why? Because DiPietro had whacked about 3 Rangers deep in the zone. And that's a Mike Keenan sign as well of a Mike Keenan team. You get a couple of licks in on his guys, they're going to play as a team, and they'll come back at you collectively.
John Leclerc, the big guy, got it out. Boy, the Canadiens could use some scoring from him. A goal, 4 assists in the last 5 games. Leclerc, they expected more numbers out of him than what they've got right now. He's a big guy. They like to plant in front of the net. Canadiens, though, have had so many injuries, they've hardly been able to get their regulars out on the ice for a single game. Leach and Bukaboom, the defensive pairing for the New York Rangers. Joey Kosar could not handle that. J.J. Daniel back to get it. Ahead for Ronan. Cleared in wide of the net. Richter went over to get it. Leach cuts around. Ronan trying to cut him off. Got the stick in on him and turned him the near side. He runs into trouble on the near side. Guy Carmino. And Leach gave him a pretty good shot as he went by. Leach able to control and get it out of the zone.
How about that hit by John Leclerc, though? Those are the kind of hits that make a coach say, okay, he's only got a goal and 4 assists in the last how many games. When John Leclerc plays like a power forward, he's contributing. That was a huge hit.
And they need him. They do not have all that much size on the Montreal Canadiens. In their own zone, the Rangers with it, setting it up. They've got Greg Gilbert out there on the ice, 17. Cleared ahead, can't be handled by Gartner. Mike Gartner pushed ahead. Gartner will chase it into the corner. Gartner on the far side for it's beaten to it and cleared out of the zone. Rangers back. Jay Wells had it. Wells flipped it ahead. Gilbert shoves it back in. Patrick Waugh goes to the far side. Shots early on, 3-1 in favor of the Rangers. 4.5 in. Gartner's shot deflected wide. Gartner again scoring goals. He's got 11 of them this season, along with 4 assists. Cleared up along the boards, but not out. Nemchinov held it in wide side. Canadiens Mario Roberge with that big checking line out there. Cleared out of the zone. Doug Lidster, the veteran, back to get it. Lidster working with Wells as the defensive pairing. Messier drops it back for Wells. They come to center. Right back to Messier from Graves. They were getting a line change underway. In fact, both teams were. Gary Lehman trying to send it up ice, couldn't. Teams in the middle of a line change, so they just send it in deep. Canadiens will start from there, wrapped around by Eric Desjardins. Leach the shot. Wow, the save. Leach just stepped up that time and got the shot from inside the circle. Canadiens still in their own zone here. You see the sticking and hooking, which has increased over the last week. One of the things the players were talking about with the substitute officials.
We wondered where the edge was. We knew the players were going to try and find it, and we knew that they would play as close to the edge as they can. They have found it, and it may be farther out than a lot of people want.
Yep. Let's hope it just stays under control. Want to remind you, ESPN's National Hockey Night coming up next Tuesday, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. Washington Capitals and the New York Islanders. Dale Hunter. Pierre Turgeon scored the goal. One of the all-time cheap shots in NHL history occurred as Hunter took him out while he was celebrating. Hunter is back next week. We'll have the game when the Capitals take on the New York Islanders.
Cheap shot aside, the Washington Capitals are doing cartwheels at the thought of getting Dale Hunter back. He means so much to that team.
So he'll be back, and they'll see each other on the ice for the first time since the incident.
And guess what? It'll be business as usual.
That's right. Oh, that's exactly the way it should be.
We make far more of it than Dale Hunter and Pierre Turgeon will.
They'll try and just not see each other
Play.
for that
play.
night. No score here. 4.5 minutes into the first period. As a Tikkanen, Tony Amati. Amati brings it up. Tikkanen got dumped on the far side. It'll be brought in by the Rangers. Kurt Muller moves over, put the hit on, couldn't get the puck. Look at Kovalev's skate. He is so quick, Alexei Kovalev. He's got around 2 players already. Centered shot. Amati was wide open. Tony Amati could not get the stick on the puck. Patrick Waugh was nowhere near the net. Kovalev again to Asa Tikkanen. Tikkanen will drop it back to Kevin Lowe. Lowe dumps it around the net. Kovalev's made it happen here in the first period. He's doing it again. Kovalev to Amati. Comes all the way to the line. Lowe holds it in. Kevin Lowe's shot deflected wide. Turnaround. Asa Tikkanen at it blocked. Good play off ice. Canadiens will get the chance. Dion shot saved by Mike Richter. Gilbert Dion had the opportunity on the breakout as the Rangers had collapsed in with the offensive effort. What chances they had that time, and Kovalev has had a couple of great shifts. Leach goes back to get it, no icing. Check put on by DiPietro in front, shot, score! No! Hit the crossbar, came out. I thought that had gone in, it hit the crossbar and came out on the near side. No light came on. And the Canadiens come right back at it. Bukaboom with a check on the far side. Mike Keane was all alone in front. Bukaboom gets it back and just flips it out of the zone. Rangers were trying to break Eddie Olczyk down ice. Patrick Waugh was forced to play it as Olczyk was cutting in. Collision at center. Mike Hudson got the big hit, colliding on the near side with Keane. Lot of good hits in this first period. Hudson racing for the Rangers, could not get to it, cleared back out. Rangers dump it right back in and clear the zone. Waugh goes back, holds it up. Well, we're flying. Matthew Schneider out there on defense. Gives it off near side for Lyle Odeline. Odeline got it out into the middle. Keane got dumped by Gilbert on the near side. Gilbert, Nemchinov, Odeline just waited for it, and it came free. Sent up along the blue line. Guy Carboneau, the captain. Bukaboom takes a shot at him right in front of the Ranger bench. And he got picked up on the rebound. Nemchinov on the near side couldn't get it. Leach does.
Well, you got to know when Bukaboom comes charging at you that you're going to pay a price. The whole thing is, how long are you willing to hang on to the puck? Carboneau, for a little guy, did a pretty good job of hanging on to it because he knew he was going to get buried by Bukaboom.
He saw him coming, but let it happen. Rob Ramage just cleared it around the boards. This is going to be an icing call. Rangers get there first. They will as Wells goes back. Wide open action. ESPN's National Hockey Night, Madison Square Garden, New York. The New York Rangers ranked first in the Eastern Conference. Montreal 6, no score in the first period. Take a look at other scores going on. We'll keep you updated on our Bud Light scoreboard. New Jersey just 2 points behind the Rangers for that lead. Florida, they'd be in the playoffs if the playoffs started today. Detroit wouldn't. You believe that? Face-off, one back to the point. Shot deflected in wide of the net by Brian Leach.
And that's why we play 84 games.
That's right. Keep right on going.
But I agree with you, though. Florida's had just a terrific start. And how about Anaheim beating Calgary in Calgary last night? They've been on a terrific tear out west.
Both those teams have played really well on the road this season. Graves bangs it off the boards out through center. Mark Messier was giving chase. Messier comes 2-on-2. Messier gets the return, tried to center for Leach. Leach dropped it. Graves backhanded it in front, hit skates and came loose. Never got in on goal. Guy Carbonneau working behind the net comes away with it. Rangers have had the better of the scoring chances. They're out shooting the Canadiens 5-2 with 12:18 to go here in the first period. Backed in front, shot, save made by Mike Richter. Rebound kicked around to the wide side. Kevin Haller, not known as a scorer, put on a pretty good drive that time for the Canadiens. Puck's up against the boards, and with Bookaboo squeezing it there along with Guy Carbonneau, they'll whistle it. Carbonneau, the captain of the Canadiens, his 12th National Hockey League season.
Well, the Canadiens have to get goals from everybody, including getting guys like Kevin Haller involved in the play. Jacques Demers said that Brian Bellows was his best forward. Not only his top scoring goal scorer, but his best forward so far this season, and the Canadiens are without Bellows. Here's Haller. He just couldn't get in front. Brian Leach, boy, he's hard to get around. All right, here's the one, Gary, that you thought might have gone in and crossed you up for a second, but it went right off the joint, it looked like, between the crossbar and the post.
Had me halfway out of the seat.
Well,
I was on my way up for it.
It's been that kind of year for the Montreal Canadiens. They have had their chances. The Kevin Haller chance that we just saw, the hit post, they haven't been able to finish them.
Number 1 defense, number 19 in offense for the Canadiens. That's how tough they have been. They're only giving up 2.45 goals a game. Rangers sweep it out near side, intended for Amati. Too far back. Cleared out by Lyle Odeline, and they'll regroup in their own end. Matthew Schneider skating back with it, the 24-year-old defenseman. Get it up to center. Knocked down by Lowe. Couldn't get it out of the zone, though. Shot back in. Lowe went down and blocked it wide. Richter, did that deflected in? He was already down. That one deflected wide. Odeline shot from the point. Chased down on the far side. It is still loose. Kicked away. Good effort, Mario Roberge. Roberge had lost his stick over there. Lowe gets knocked down from behind. Good play by Brad Scheer, and we're going to get our first penalty of the game. Delayed call. Esatikainen gets hooked down. You could have 2 penalties if you wanted them. One was already being called. Esatikainen at center ice just got filleted. See if they call 1 or 2.
Hey, these are the tough guys we talked about. Little Ronnie Wilson at 37 years of age is 5'10" and weighs about 168 pounds soaking wet, but he's got Mario Roberge on one side and number 35, Donald Brashear, a rookie on the other side, and that's tons of minor league fighting experience on either side of Ronnie Wilson. There's Brashear, 35. Big hit. Gosh, Gary, he's got a set of shoulders that don't quit. There's Roberge.
That's not a fight.
Well, Roberge isn't technically a heavyweight by NHL standards, coming in at about 190 to 194. But boy, he won't back down from anybody. And as we mentioned in the open, the last time the Canadiens played here, Jacques Demers felt that perhaps they were even a little intimidated, some of his small guys. He did not want that to happen in this game. And keep in mind, the Rangers don't even have Mike Hartman and Nick Kypreos in the lineup. 2 of Mike Keenan's bangers.
Yep. And in the first game, Kevin Haller slashed Messier and ended up getting a suspension on it, which adds to some of the feelings here. Mike Keenan's team of this season averaging about 22 minutes in penalties per game, while the Canadiens only a little over 15, the 3rd fewest. So we'll see how Michael Foy, the fill-in official, works this one.
Well, here's the first penalty. Donald Brashear hooking down Kevin Lowe behind the net. And then, as you mentioned, there could have been another one coming up. Did they get the second one? Did they call the second one officially?
I don't know.
Well,
I don't think they did.
It's a good bet that Esatikainen helped on the dive on that one.
Pierre Sevigny, the rookie, out of there for the Canadiens. Benoit Brunet's got a bad knee, missing his 3rd game. Bellows out with bad ribs, 2nd game that he has been out. Peter Popovich, the rookie's got a right knee problem. He is out. Stefan Lebeau, right ankle problem, missing his 3rd game. Some of the problems for the Montreal Canadiens. Peter Anderson is out of there for the Rangers. They're missing Mike Hartman. Nick Kypreos has been out 3 games now. But Keenan has got a healthy team. His scratches are coach's percentages.
And he's got tough depth. He's got 3 good scoring lines in the lineup. And even without Hartman and Nick Kypreos, he's got Joe Kocur. That can take care of some dirty stuff that has to be taken care of. You got a job that has to be done. Get Joey Kocur out there.
Maybe the best fighter in the league right now.
You know, he hasn't fought nearly as much in the last few years because his hands just can't take it. They've gotten so mangled with his fighting that he just can't fight as much.
Look at these power play numbers. Last year they finished 17th. Right now they are numero uno on the power play. 29 power play goals. They've given up only 13 this year. Tremendous specialty teams for the New York Rangers. The Montreal Canadiens given up 6 on the road, 16th on the check that. They are 13th on the road penalty killing. Brashears went out for hooking. That came at 8:50, and then Esa Tikkanen and Oberline 10-minute misconduct at 8:50. That still converts to a Ranger power play. And here they come with it. Leach sends it in. Leach has tied for first in power play points in the National Hockey League this season. He's been involved in 27 of the 29 power play goals the Rangers have scored. That is unbelievable.
Well, you know that Montreal cannot get into a power play war or a specialty teams war with the New York Rangers. As long as the Rangers play the way they have been, they will dominate this game.
Messier hit the post. He got that one to the right on the stick side of Patrick Waugh, and it banged out.
Well, the incredible thing is that the Rangers' penalty killing is as good as its power play. That's the scary part about having to take on the Rangers.
Right now, Bill, there are no holes on this Ranger team.
Absolutely accurate. They are healthy, they're big, they're strong, they hit, they're getting good goaltending, they're special teams. You go up and down the checklist of what you got to have to win, and you're right, there are no holes.
And they're 10-0-2 in their last 12 games after starting 5-5. Pinned up in the corner. 56 seconds remaining on the Ranger power play. Talking to Brian today, he was all Eagles. Boston College grad right there. He said, God, I wish I was still a student at Boston College for about 2 weeks. Said, I'm talking to all my friends up there every night. There you see the power play points that have been picked up. 18 for Leach, Gretzky, and Adam Oates with 17 each.
And you know, Mike Keenan actually sat Brian Leach down on the bench a couple of games in the first couple of weeks of the season. And Mike Keenan swore to me today, he said it wasn't negative reinforcement and it wasn't punishment. I told him, sit here, collect your thoughts, look at it for a while, and then talk. And he said, you know, I think that Brian's expectations were too low. I told him he's capable of playing like a Norris Trophy winner every night. And he has played like that since then.
He is. Amati centered it. It went underneath. Comes back to the point. Held in. Nemchinov working down low with Gartner and Amati on the near side. Leach holds it in. Leach's shot tipped, deflected down on Patrick Waugh. It was deflected in front, down hard by Gartner. Gartner battling in the corner. Good hit put on by Matthew Schneider of the Canadiens. Can't get the puck away from Nemchinov. Nemchinov gets spun around by J.J. Daigneault. Comes back to the right side, held in. Power play, Ranger shot deflected. Can't clear. Leach holds it in. Leach coming. Leach the defenseman. Leach looking. Tried to center. Blocked. Waugh reaches out and covers up. A furious power play. That's why it's been so successful for the New York Rangers.
Does Brian Leach draw a crowd? That is a sure sign of greatness in this sport when you get the puck and you draw a crowd. Even on the power play, 3 Montreal Canadiens turned to him and tried to keep him from cutting out in front.
Boy, there have been some words spoken. Only the second meeting of the season between these two teams, but it's serious.
Well, on one play, Leach just let it rip, and look at the traffic in front. You know, another sign of a power play that is clicking is when they shoot from the point, they always seem to have traffic in front. This is the last Leach chance where he came around and tried to slip to somebody in front. A power play that's on the limp will get the shot through, nobody there in front. Or there'll be people in front and they don't get the shot through. When it's all working, everybody is in sync out there. And that's the best way to describe a power play that's out of sync. Those things don't happen at the same time.
A lot of yapping going on, and the officials are taking people to task for it. E. Carbonneau is going to the penalty box after the whistle, pushing and shoving, and Carbonneau gets 2 for roughing. Now, that means for 8 seconds, the Rangers will have a 2-man advantage. That's what Jacques Demers is upset about. And then, of course, they'll continue their power play. 8 seconds left on the first advantage. And now another 2 minutes goes up on the board. And as Bill said, that is the last thing the Canadiens want to do against the #1 power play shorthanded. Michael Foy out of Virginia, the referee for tonight's game, as the officials in the league try and get closer. Talked to Scotty Morrison, covers hockey for the Toronto Star. He was up at the meetings today. He says they're very close if the league will just give a little on the pension plan. Leach drops it off. This is a 2-man advantage. Leach in shot. He missed the net. Now down to a 1-man advantage. 5-on-4 as one of the penalties is over. Leach all the way in on that last one. New York Rangers just continue the power play. Makes it that much tougher. Zubak score! Messier set up the screen in front. Power play goal. Graves will get credit for it. And the Rangers take a 1-0 lead.
Jacques Demers is still upset at the penalty to Carbonneau, but they were back to a one-man disadvantage. Leach was looking at the net when he passed over to Zubov. Here is one of the big additions to the Rangers. He was here last year, but he's playing like an all-star. Not Leach, but Zubov. He lifted his head up, and he saw this guy, Adam Graves, standing in front. I wonder if Patrick Waugh didn't throw himself off just momentarily trying to slash Graves. He looked like he recovered and got back into the set position. But once again, in sync. Everybody at the point is taking a look, and when there are guys like Adam Graves in front, whammo. They just drive it low to the net, and the Rangers have scored power play goals every way conceivable so far this year.
So they add to their numbers as they pick it up in a 5-on-4 power play. Adam Graves, who came into the game tied for 6th among goal scorers, now has picked up his 6th feet. He remains 6th, one behind Dave Anderchuk, Zubov, and Leach at the 11-minute mark on the power play goal for the New York Rangers, a 1-0 lead. Matthew Schneider trying to clear it around. Couldn't get it by Gartner, who held it in. Pushed back in behind the net. Montreal having real troubles getting up ice, getting out of the zone. Danfus could not clear it up the boards. Behind the net, a penalty coming up. It's going to be on Gartner, I believe. Gartner's going to be called for holding behind the net. He doesn't think so. The Canadiens will have their first power play when we come back.
Well, he was when his team went down by 2 men. This is a reaction, and he yelled at Mike Foy. And moments later, this call. I mean, Mike Gartner just looked like he overpowered J.J. Daigneault, and he was called for it. So whoever says that at times yelling at the referees doesn't pay, maybe that time it did. Who knows?
Yep,
but it didn't look like Gartner was holding anybody.
No, and that's what he was called, was for holding. So the Canadiens go on the power play with the Rangers leading it by a score of 1-0. It'll be held in on the near side by Gary Lehman. Dumped into the corner. Canadiens have had their problems on the power play. They are 19th in the league. They went 1 for 6 against the Rangers in the first game. And the Canadiens have scored only 6 of their 15 power play goals on the road this season. They have struggled with their power play unit for the last 5 years. They'll start out of their own end. The Canadiens, knowing that, put the heat on as Graves had moved in. Graves putting a lot of pressure on short-handed. The New York Rangers have done well there as well. We told you there's not a hold. Offside. The Rangers have scored 10 short-handed goals this season, number 1 in the National Hockey League, and Graves has picked up 4 of those.
They've only allowed 13 power play goals against. So they basically are a net -3. And look at Adam Graves. He is as representative of the team as anybody. 6 power play goals, 4 short-handed goals, 6 even-strength goals. But why shouldn't the Rangers score? Check out who kills penalties for them up front. You got Graves and Messier. They just went off. Larmer and Tikkanen kill penalties. They can skate. They're all capable of scoring. Nemchinov and Gartner. Gartner's a short 40-goal guy. Nemchinov's a 30-goal guy. And as a 4th pair, Mike Keenan will put out Tony Amati and Alexei Kovalev. They've all got blazes for skates. They can all skate like crazy. They're all good offensively. Why shouldn't they have 10 goals?
That's great depth. There's nobody in the National Hockey League right now with that kind of depth offensively, and they're playing the great defense to go along with it. Short-handed, Amati brings it in. Tony Amati was looking in front, didn't find anybody. Back for Sergei Zubov. Zubov, this is a power play now for the Canadiens. They haven't been able to get the puck here, though. J.J. Daigneault over to Matthew Schneider. They look ahead. Just kicked into the middle by DiPietro, and he got knocked down by Amati. Down goes Daigneault. Players, both teams said ice is atrocious here tonight. Not that that's unusual.
Right. Some things never change, and one thing that never changed is the ice here in Madison Square Garden. It was that way when I played here. It's been that way since this building was put in. The ice surface is on the 6th floor of the building, and it's in and out so often, and we talked about it, but recently there was a poll taken of the players, the 30 players, and they all said the worst is right here.
Right here. Western Canadian, of course, buildings get used only for hockey. They have the best. Cleared out. Almost had the break for Zubov. So the penalty killers back to work. Kill it off. No shots. Gartner behind the net. Even strength. Gartner drops it off. Played up the boards and back to center ice as both teams were regrouping. It'll be taken back by Doug Lidster, waiting for his teammates. Nemchinov had it poke checked away. Guy Carbonneau giving chase. Rangers leading at 1-0. Adam Graves has picked up the goal. Carbonneau, you saw the hit put on behind the net as he collided with Nemchinov back there. Brought in by the Rangers. Big heat shot deflected wide. They're getting the scoring chances in this game. That one just ended up over the seats. Jacques Demers right now is going to be a little concerned, not only that he's down 1-0, but the flow of this game, the ice seems to be tilted towards his goaltender.
Well, he knows it's an uphill battle. He really thinks his team is just now feeling the effects of winning the Stanley Cup, meaning that they've had trouble preparing for certain teams. Not to take anything away of the Floridas and the Anaheims and the Tampas and the Ottawas of the world, Montreal has lost a number of games to expansion teams and second-year expansion teams. Having been there, I know how difficult it is to attach the same importance to a game in October or November. It's difficult to attach the same amount of importance to that as you did the year before in the Stanley Cup final.
And it's such a short summer when you've gone all the way to June 9 when they finally won the Stanley Cup. There is Gary Lehman coming over to chat. Lehman has already been scratched 3 times this season. He's not been able to put up the kind of points that they need out of him. Gartner, too many men on the ice penalty has been called against Montreal. I was wondering, Gartner was over talking to the referee, and so the Montreal Canadiens get caught with the extra skater, and they're going to be short-handed again. Boy, that is... Right now, the Canadiens are really struggling here. That's the last sort of thing you can have happen against the New York Rangers with that power play they've got. They already have 1 for 2 on the power play, 4 shots on their chances, and they got another power play here. Messier, Kurt Muller got it away from him and cleared it out. So the Montreal penalty killers go back to work. Zubov will take it back in behind the net. Sergei Zubov, 8th among defensemen in scoring. A lot of that has come on the power play as he works the point with Brian Leetch. It's usually Zubov to Leetch to somebody who scores. That was Graves who tried. Waugh made the save. Zubov shot, missed that one wide. Rebound back to the point. Leetch is there. Leetch holding it in. He'll take it. Deflected on Waugh, who makes the save and hangs on. And the Canadiens don't like the fact the Rangers headed to the net on that deflection by Steve Larmer. He fell right on top of Patrick Waugh.
What a crowd in front, though, Gary. You know, you may have been sitting at home waiting to see just a real well-executed fancy power play by the New York Rangers. Not so. They're scoring goals the blue-collar way. Brian Leetch and Sergei Zubov are just winding up and letting them rip, and they just try to overload in front.
There's what we were talking about. You saw Messier and Haller going at it already.
Boy, do they stick together. Here's Leetch with a shot. Nice small windup just to try to get it low. Look at that. Larmer's there. Graves is there. And cruising in like a big shark from the back was Mark Messier.
Desjardins looked like he was wielding the 2-bladed axe right there, boy.
Believe me, when you get out of position, which Desjardins is here, you see how he actually had 2 guys get between him and Patrick Waugh. When you're out of net, out of position, the only alternative basically is to go Paul Bunyan.
We're going to have more penalties called here. 1:30 still remaining on that first penalty for too many men on the ice. Coming up, college football and what games? The weekend kickoff show Thursday, 7:40 Eastern and 4:40 Pacific. Thanksgiving Day. Chris Fowler, Lee Corso, and Craig James. Then you will see. This is for the Cotton Bowl. Texas and Texas A&M. The winner goes to the Cotton Bowl. That's what that one's all about. And who would have thought this would be the game of the century? West Virginia screaming, "We are number 1. Why won't you give it to us?" Boston College upset Notre Dame. They go at it. That's coming up on ESPN on Friday. Wow. Look at the shots on goal. The Rangers dominating. Larmer and Kevin Haller have gone off for roughing at 14:29, matching Miners. So the power play continues as Leetch takes it in behind his own net. The Rangers still on the power play. It remains a 5-on-4 power play. That's the first bad pass they've had on the power play as Leetch has to go back in behind his own net. Rangers leading at 1-0. Adam Graves, a power play goal. It'll be brought in. Mike Gartner. Gartner centered it. Bounces off Graves' stick. Goes right back. Zubov near side for Leetch. Canadians are coming out along the blue line now, trying to deny the New York Rangers that blue line pass. Zubov back in his own end.
Now, the Rangers haven't caught on to that yet, Gary, and they're not pulling anybody back out into the slot, into that mid-ice area that is being opened up by the Montreal forwards coming up to the blue line and their defensemen staying in front. If the Rangers see that they're being pressed at the blue line and pull somebody out into the high slot, the Canadiens got a problem.
It's wide open.
Yep.
Zubov lost it. Guy Carbonneau. Carbonneau's really digging now as the captain tries to raise the energy level for these Canadiens.
And that's what puck support is all about. We talk about staying close to the puck carrier when he's under pressure. You've got to do it even when your point man has the puck in the offensive zone on the power play. If somebody's turning up the heat on him, Get out near him. Go to him to support him.
That was Guy Carbonneau again who broke up that last rush for the Rangers. Again, they line up. Again, Carbonneau knocked it away. Great penalty killing work by Guy Carbonneau. 3 seconds left on the power play. Brought in near side. Kovalev. He's looking to the middle at a man open, but it was blocked by Matthew Snyder. Penalty's over. Rangers 1 for 3 on the power play now. They've had 6 of their 11 shots on power play chances, but the lead is just 1-0. And we're back to even strength. Wells sends it across ice. Canadians got to find a way to get some shots. Knocked off. Amati shot. Saved by Waugh. Rebound deflected, but it was handled and banged around the net by Ron Wilson, the veteran. Comes back. Canadiens. Gilbert on the attack. Sends it in wide, and it'll be Wells going back to get it. Keane puts the big hit on Wells. Good collision. Near side, Tony Amati. Amati's coming. They got a 3-on-2 chance. Amati working it in. Amati's got a trailer. Amati got taken out of the play on the boards on the near side. Good hard hit by Desjardins. Oh. Wells comes back and delivers one. Deflected in Clark. Down on the near side. Tony Amati gets up limping a little bit. He's still out on the ice, but I think he felt that one.
Well, Mike Keane is the guy that got leveled by Jay Wells. Man, oh man, did Wells looked like he took about 84 steps into him before drilling him. Mike Foy, the referee, was on the other side of the ice. I'm not even sure that he saw it.
Wow, J.J. Daniel clears it around. On the far side, the Canadiens unable to get out of the zone again. Vincent Danfus knocked away by Gilbert. Canadiens still looking to find a way out. Near side finally just poke at the center. Eric Desjardins, the forwards, not touching the puck for the Canadiens right now as they're unable to get through the New York Rangers at center ice. Cleared back into the zone. Have to come back to get it. Daniel near side for Muller. Muller drops it off. Danfus out there with Muller and Lehman. Vincent Danfus. Danfus for Muller. Went through. Desjardins, Lehman, Muller. Can't turn around and get it in. They all were there. They got behind Mike Richter, but they could not bang it home. Best chance thus far for the Canadiens. Lehman drops it off. Muller's got it. Rangers change it up. Vincent Danfus on the near side to Lehman. Lehman looking. Lehman in. Lehman hit the side of the net. There goes the cage. Should be a whistle. Delayed call coming up. Net was loose. And there will be a power play coming as the Canadiens put their best offense up.
Wow, watch this hit by Jay Wells. Before Montreal's chances, Mike Keane was trying to get the puck out of his zone. He was in deep, and he had Tony Amati to deal with, and also Jay Wells kept his arms down. Terrific hit, clean one. And watch Richter on this play. He went down, then he was able to get back up. That's what saved him when Guy Carbonneau was to the side trying to get it by him. And in the middle of all of that, Jeff Bukaboom picked up a slash.
Power play for the Canadiens. 0 for 1. Didn't have a shot on their first chance. They are trailing 1-0. Centering pass near side deflected off Dion's skates. Held in along the boards. Good play by Kevin Haller, who got his head taken off. Well, at least his helmet. In front. Shot save. Richter. Rebound deflected back out as Lehman cut in. There's Kevin Haller. Haller made a great play to hold it in.
And the Rangers dodged a bullet. It really looked like Adam Graves got the elbow up on Haller to knock the helmet out.
Got him pretty good. In fact, Dion set up in front of the net for the Canadiens. Gilbert Dion, the shot. Dion score! That one went right through the screen. A 1-1 game, Eric Desjardins. And this game is tied.
This hasn't happened very often to the New York Rangers, allowing a power play goal. But Eric Desjardins had something that both Brian Leach and Zubov have had for the Rangers. A screen in front. What do you do when you get it? Let it rip. Well, you know what? That screen looked like it was more to the side. Was that tipped out in the deep slot? Terrific look at it from behind the Montreal net. Well, Mike Richter, you know what? Mike Richter came from behind the screen and maybe had trouble picking it up, but Desjardins let it rip. Boy, he's got a cannon.
18:32, the power play goal for Desjardins, and this game is tied 1-1. And here is a typical Montreal game. Virtually outplayed the entire period. Minute 15 left to go in it. They've tied the game up at 1-1. Patrick Waugh behind the net, played it to the near side. Matthew Snyder bangs it off the boards. Ronan moved up, trying to hold it in. They jam up there. Puck to Leach. Leach the shot. Saved by Waugh. There is a rebound. He can't find it. It's still loose. Players go down on top of it. Now the sticks get up. Patrick Waugh came out in a hurry to try and cover up on that because that puck was free. And Quebec on our Bud Light scoreboard. No scores. The Devils are there. Florida at home against Hartford. Hartford next to last in the National Hockey League right now. San Jose, the more people you talk to around the league say San Jose is going to be a real real nut to crack as the season goes along.
Well, we thought they might be. We've talked about this recently because of the lineup changes. Gosh, they got good, talented people. They're a much different team than last year, and they started slowly, but if you look at their roster closely, they're not bad.
Herbe and Nets having a fantastic year, even though you don't hear about him. Desjardins' goal. Keenan DiPietro picked up the assist on it. We're under a minute left to go here in the period. Game tied at 1 after Graves had put up the Rangers. Esa Tikkanen, and he missed that one. What a great wrist shot he has. It just explodes off that stick. Went right by Waugh, was not on net. Rangers like to chase it down in their own end. Bukaboom just bangs it off the boards. Bukaboom is out there with Leach on the defensive pairing for the Rangers. Waugh leaves it behind the net. 30 seconds left to go here in the first. We'll take you back to our studios. You'll have a look at all the highlights of the other games going on in the National Hockey League during our first intermission. And Jim Schoenfeld will be there. We'll take a look and analyze those for you. Steve Levy to headman the whole thing. And our own man on the officials strike. It's cleared in. Patrick Waugh knocks it away. On the far side, Canadiens. 8 seconds left to go. Haller, Esa Tikkanen. They jam it up there and just hang on as they could not move the puck.
Boy, Jeff Bukaboom got Guy Carbonneau into a sandwich situation. I didn't see who the other Ranger was, but they really sandwiched Carbonneau. Carbonneau didn't get hurt. Jeff Bukaboom did. He went buckled over all the way to the bench after the hit. Watch it. Here it is. It's Amante on one side. Carbonneau in the middle. Man, Carbonneau took that right in the jaw, but Bukaboom immediately buckled. He bent over and went right to the bench. Maybe it's just wind.
Carbonneau's played a tough first period. Al Morgani's been in touch with what's going on in Toronto today as far as the officials making their announcements about where they are in negotiations with the league. That all coming. And there he is, the captain, Guy Carbonneau, 12th season. 33 years old now, and as tough as they come. You don't see a smile very often. They've pulled the goaltender with 3.1 seconds left to go. The Rangers are getting the extra skater on the ice. 3.1. Kirk Muller saw that and started salivating as he took the face off. Now Muller's going to have to wait here. Ed Olchuk moved in. We'll have highlights coming up in the first intermission of the Devils-Nords game, and of course the plays of the week, the National Hockey League, along with all the other games.
And Mike Keenan gambling there with 3.1 seconds, which has now become 2.2 because of the false start. But I suspect they're going to put that back on because Mike Ford, the referee, just went to the penalty box. Mike Keenan gambling at 3.1 seconds is not enough time to score a goal in the empty net. It is enough. It is enough time, but it would have to be bang, bang, perfect. And to do it, defensively, you got to have somebody in a shooting hole behind Kirk Muller, and you can't afford that.
They haven't done that. Muller won the faceoff, cleared back out of the zone, and that will do it. So here at Madison Square Garden, ESPN's National Hockey Night, and now the sticks are up again. And they have trouble ending the first period as Adam Graves, Kirk Muller, Evan Haller, and the linesman. 1-1 after 1.
All right, Gary Thorne, thanks very much. An action-packed first period at the Garden in New York. This intermission, I promise, will be action-packed as well. We'll have an update from Strike Central. We'll also have your plays of the week and highlights and scores of the 3 other games from around the National Hockey League tonight, including the New Jersey Devils and the Quebec Nordiques. John McClain, when he scores, the Devils are 6-0. He's been scoring a lot recently.
Tonight's second intermission report is presented by the New Dodge, a division of the Chrysler Corporation.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to our New Dodge intermission report. Score after 1 period of play from the Garden in New York. The Rangers and the Montreal Canadiens, they are tied at 1. Well, Jim Schoenfeld, Al Morganti joining me here in the studio. Week 2, day number 9 of the strike. Now, Al, who has been right on throughout the entire season, just missed. Last week, he told our National Hockey Night audience he thought the strike with the on-ice officials being off the ice would be over by this point. It is not. It is not ended to this point, and there is some news today.
Maybe I underestimated how tough the NHL could be, how hardballing. They are hardballing the officials. However, it looks like some major movement being made. Don Meehan, the chief negotiator for the officials, I spoke with him this afternoon, and I spoke with Jeff Pash from the NHL. Obviously, some miscommunications, I believe, where they're hearing different things. According to Meehan, they will make concessions to the officials in the area of salary. They will accept the NHL's offer on salary if they get some major concessions on benefits. According to the NHL, they're willing to do it, but not go as far as the officials want right now. What's key here is Pash from the NHL said he expects to speak with Meehan tomorrow, and Meehan said previously that the puck is in the NHL's court look for this time to get wrapped up quickly.
All right, we wrote it down this time, Al. It's on tape. 3 games going on tonight besides the game you're enjoying in the National Hockey League, including the New Jersey Devils in Quebec. The Devils have won 4 straight on the road. If they win tonight in Quebec City, it would set an all-time franchise record, 5 straight wins away from home. Scoreless in the first, Scott Niedermayer, the shot from the point. Jocelyn Thibault, the kick save to keep the game scoreless. Also, another chance for New Jersey. Bobby Carpenter, the drop to Bruce Driver. Driver's shot. Thibault, the save. Bill Guerin picks it up, and Thibault, another save. That's where they remain scoreless after 1 period of play. I told you about the Devils' play on the road. Jim Schoenfeld, what a physical game it has been to this point. You would think it's a division game. It's an Eastern Conference game, but not a division game. Almost seems like a rivalry-type game.
Well, the Nordiques dressed 8 defensemen and 10 forwards, and 2 of the extra defensemen are big, tough guys. There have been 3 majors in the game already. We saw some Devils scoring chances. Well, the Nordiques were not without their scoring chances. You'll see right here a great hit by David Karpa on Bill Guerin. Now watch Karpa stay with the puck, and he's going to be pursued by Guerin. Watch number 3, Danico, leave the front of the net. That leaves Joe Sakic wide open, and Brodeur has to come up with a save for the Devs. Adam Foote, number 52, is going to pinch for the Nordique defenseman. He's going to go behind the net. Now watch the coverage in front. You'll see 10 Corey Millen. He's with his check 47. Lapointe, he leaves him to go to Ricci. There's 2-on-1 in front of the net. That leaves Lapointe wide open. And again, Brodeur with a save, and he hangs on to that rebound. The Nordiques did not only get their chance mucking. Look at the speed here the speed by Kaminska, and it just misses, hits the post, and we still, to this point, have a scoreless tie in that game.
All right, we'll keep an eye on that one as well. There is one other game being played right now. They are still in the first period. The Florida Panthers, actually after one, Mike Huff has scored. So the Panthers leading the Hartford Whalers, who have 1 win in their last 15 games. Well, I am one that tends to jump to conclusions. You know, 2 games into the season, I'm like, wow, they're going to have a great year. And Jim Schoenfeld has told us all along that hockey people look at when you get to 1 quarter of the season, the 1 quarter mark, about 21 games in, Al, and that's where we are right now. What trends are you seeing around the league?
Believe it or not, we've reached that 21-goal mark for most of the teams. So let's take a look at some of the ups and downs and stars in the NHL over that first quarter. You want to look at an MVP? How about this guy, Wendell Clark? Hey, he's healthy for a change. Leads the league with 21 goals. And how about this? 10 of them have either tied a game or put the Leafs ahead. Now, down at the other end, this guy, Felix Potvin, there were some people questioning $1.2 million for a sophomore. Hey, he's worth that money and more. Second best in the NHL with 12 wins, 2.49 goals against average. Hey, legend of the year, he's back. Passes from God. Wayne Gretzky leads the league in scoring, so what else is new? Want a surprise? Mike Modano, more than almost 3 times as many goals as anybody else on the team with 19. If he played like this, that team may never have left Minnesota. Rookie of the year, 3 of the last 4 have been from Europe. Maybe Alexei Yashin's the next one from Ottawa. It was supposed to be his teammate, Alexander Daigle. He trails him by a few points in the rookie scoring race. Another country heard from, Michael Renberg. He was supposed to get a lot of points for the Flyers because he was playing with Lindros. Lindros has been out a couple of weeks. He's skating now. We'll be back in 2 weeks. But in the meantime, Renberg tied 25 points atop the rookie scoring leaders. Now, if you're looking for disappointments, look at 2 teams, Quebec and Detroit. Wouldn't be in the playoffs if it ended now. And they were supposed to be powerful teams coming in, but only the quarter pole.
All right. And still to come on this Dodge Innovation Report, we'll have our plays of the week. But according to Al, as we show you, some teams who would make the playoffs last year that would not make them right now. Interesting to note, 4 clubs there, Detroit, Buffalo, Quebec, and Islanders. No longer does everyone make the playoffs in this league. Now 10 teams will not make the playoffs. If they started now, those 4 would not. We'll be right back with plays of the week. And welcome back, everyone, to the new Dodge Intermission Report after 1. Rangers and Canadiens tied at 1. You know, there are some plays from that first period that might just make it to plays of the week, but that would be for next week. Now I look at this past week, our plays of the week. I don't know about you, but I'm just thrilled about the upcoming holidays. I just can't wait to see the Easter Bunny. I better make that the turkey. So here we go, over the boards and through the glass.
Level by McGill. Oh, and Paul Brunt throws a heavy hit on the far board. Big collision between Kachuk and Quadra, and both are slow to get up. Van Allen knocked down by Slager, who caught him with his head down.
Wow, Grandma doesn't seem to be in such a good mood. Things are getting a little tense. Good thing we brought a few gifts. Let's eat.
LaPuma keeps it in, gives to Bradley, winds up, fires, and scores!
Here's a break for New Jersey as Randy McKay comes right in on handshake. George.
Yager moving in. Yager to Mullen scores! He didn't miss that one! Wesley jumping it in front. Early to save. Big rebound. He hit the post and score. And over to Yager. Yager moving. Yager. Look at the move. Again. Yager in. Yager scores!
On top of the circle. Little fun pass. Shepard. He scored!
The hands there.
Oh, boy.
Is right.
I am stuck. I'm going to have to spend the next month at the Y. Of course, you had better save me a piece of pie.
Bélanger, belle passe, c'est tir. Oh, quel arrêt de toucher à la dernière seconde. Through by Jam, not Blinderman. Here's Borsato over there. Great save by Grant Pure.
Anderchuk shot. Save. Gilmore. Great save by Kelly Rooney.
Rolling right out in front. There's a chance. Oh, what a save.
And a very happy Thanksgiving, everyone. We'll see you when you get home. All right, HL Players of the Week. Next time we get together, a week from tonight, Dale Hunter, Pierre Turgeon. Should be an interesting crowd at the Coliseum for the Capitals and the Islanders on National. It's the Rangers and the Canadiens in a close one. How close? That close. Mike Keane hits the crossbar. It's 1-1 after one. As far as who's not and who's not around the NHL, Pierre Turgeon was on the other list last week. He was the Player of the Week now. Islanders won all three of those games. Who's not? Well, Paul Coffey continues to struggle, as do the rest of his Red Wing teammates. Philadelphia struggling without Eric Lindros. After 1-1, Montreal the Rangers. Gary Bill, second period from the Garden, is coming up next.
What
ESPN's National Hockey Night is brought to you by Sony. Nothing unleashes the power of music like Sony. By Chevy Trucks, the most dependable, long-lasting trucks on the road. And by Head & Shoulders Dry Scalp and Dry Scalp 2-in-1. Because beautiful hair can't have flakes.
Welcome back, everybody. Madison Square Garden. Gary Thornville, Clement Graves has scored for the Rangers. Desjardins for Montreal. Both power play goals. We are 1-1 at the end of the first period. It was a good one with some really good shots.
Well, we thought that the New York Rangers would come out hitting, and you can expect it from just about every defense corps in the NHL. Boom, Jay Wells, but forwards as well. The New York Rangers forwards are huge. They average 200 pounds in size, 6'1 1/2. That's plenty to establish a hitting game. Now, Montreal has got guys that like to hit as well. The question is, can they keep it up? You know, Kirk Muller's going to hit everything that moves. And Montreal typically scratched and clawed and did what they had to do to keep this game tied. Late in the first period, Mike Richter was really screened. Look at the right of your screen. Mike Richter had the screen move away from him. So for a moment, I didn't know whether he was screened or not, but you could tell that he didn't even see that shot coming off the stick of Eric Desjardins.
And we are ready to go. Second period underway. There were penalties picked up at the 20-minute mark as Kevin Haller and Adam Graves each picked up 2 for roughing. So 4-on-4 to start. Leach centered shot wide of Patrick Waugh. Opportunity for the Rangers early on. Steve Larmer deflected back along the boards. The Canadiens cleared out. Larmer will come back to get it. Steve Larmer's 900th National Hockey League game that he's playing here tonight. And he's out there right now in this 4-on-4. Patrick Waugh goes back to get it. Played it off to the near side boards. Deflects right back into the middle. Kirk Muller goes back to get it. Muller had problems with some bruises in the rib area. Messier gets pinned up. Messier knows about that. He played with bruised ribs all last season. Brought up by the Canadiens. 4-on-4 situation. Don Poussin tried to drop it back. Deflects all the way back into their own end. Lyle Odeline fell down. Messier went after the puck. Odeline had it underneath him. Dan Poussin comes the other way. Just slipped and fell. Drops back. Lyle Odeline winds up, takes it. Save made. Mike Richter. Already had all day to line that one up. No Ranger in sight as he wound up and let her go. Danfus dropped it down low, but they couldn't get it centered. 2-on-1 break the other way. Couldn't get it up to Amati, who was all alone on the left wing. Shot, score! The Canadiens come right back with a turnover. Matthew Schneider. 2-1 Canadiens.
Wow. What looked like it was going to be a breakaway for Tony Amati turns into a Montreal goal. Watch Tikkanen, number 10 for the Rangers, just miss it there to send Amati away. The Canadiens right back in your face. Terrific counterattack. Because they had been caught behind Tikkanen and Amati, they stopped, went the other way immediately. Terrific pass to Matt Schneider. Watch this shot. Oh, baby, that went right between Richter's arm and his body. I like Matt Schneider, and I know he's got an accurate shot, but he wasn't going there.
Matthew Snyder says, I'll take it. And it is a 2-1 lead for the Canadiens, his third of the season, coming at 1:17. And that goal is scored in a 4-on-4 situation. And suddenly the Canadiens are going into the Rangers. Lyle Odeline picked up the assist. Rangers have virtually dominated in this game, and they're behind. Shots are 13-8 in favor of New York. Mike Gardner's shot wide of Patrick Waugh. The New York Rangers in this streak they are in, 10-0-2, have not given up more than 3 goals in a game. They haven't given up more than 4 all season long.
That incredible.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Even in the start of the season, when they lost 5 of their first 9, they didn't allow more than 4 goals.
Hard to believe. That's the way they're playing it at each end. Schneider brings it back the other way, dropped it off. Carbono saved by Richter, deflected off the stick wide. The Canadiens suddenly finding a little room to shoot. Zubov brings it the other way. Zubov dropped it in. We're back to 5-on-5 now as those Magic Minors are over. Carbono tried to get it back up to the point. Held in, shot by Graves. Deflects into the seats. Patrick Waugh went down. Wasn't sure where that one went. Graves is the man who scored at 1950 the first time these teams met and tied it up 3-3, and he's got one tonight. Montreal Canadiens coming to Madison Square Garden for the final time as they played here earlier and tied 3-3. The other 2 games these teams will play will be at the Forum in Montreal. Montreal coming off a 2-2 tie against Pittsburgh on Saturday. Bukaboom's got it. Bukaboom along the line, backs it in wide. Patrick Waugh reaches out. They'll just hang on. No Ranger around to try and knock this one home. And the Rangers right now got to find a way to fire things up a little against Waugh and the Canadiens. Fire on Ice, the National Hockey League and ESPN2 tomorrow, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. The Boston Bruins, Ray Bourque and company against Jaromir Jagr, and the Pittsburgh Penguins have put the numbers up even though they don't have the big guy playing. Tom Mees, Brian Engblom will have that one for you. Jagr's up to 10 goals already. Los Angeles Kings, Nordique, Thanksgiving evening. Score! Brian Leetch, the shot, deflected in front. Messier may get credit. Patrick Waugh made the initial save, and it trickled over the line. Game tied at 2.
Here is the one thing that the Montreal Canadiens will continue to have trouble with. And for that matter, all teams will if the Rangers play like this. Look at them get to the net off the faceoff. Both Graves and Messier were being held back. They inched their way, shoved their way, scratched their way to the front of the net. And virtually every shot that a Rangers defenseman has taken from the point, and I don't care if it's been power play or regular strength, there's been somebody in front. You can get to the front when you've got guys that are 6'2", 210 pounds like Messier. Graves is a 200-pounder. If the big guys play that way, it's hard to defend against it, Gary. There's no easy way. You just got to dig in.
That's what's happening right now for both these teams. So they've matched goals in the second period. Centering pass in front, shot deflected wide as Gary Lehman had the chance. Graves brings it out. They've credited the goal to Leetch, who picks it up. Leetch from Messier at 2:26. That may not stand up when they take a look at it on tape. Messier looked like he might have knocked it in, but that's the way it is right now, and the game's tied at 2. Gilbert working in behind the net. Back in front, he got hit in the face with a stick. Penalty coming up. Not much question about that. Kevin Haller got the stick up high, and down went Kovalev, and did not apparently do enough. He'll just get the 2.
Here's another look at the Rangers' goal. Messier, big win in the faceoff, and there's Kirk Muller trying to hook him back. Messier trying to get to the front. Did he get a piece of it? You know, it may have trickled down off of his pants or off of his pads. So he may have made contact with it. Oh, yeah, we just lost it as it went towards him, but he may have actually made contact with that by accident.
Brian Leetch, the #1 scorer among defensemen in the National Hockey League, his 8th goal. Messier the assist, 2:26. And Haller picks up his 3rd penalty of the game already. And a power play for the New York Rangers, who have gone 1 for 3. And they've had 6 shots on the power play. Game is tied at 2. The #1 power play unit in the National Hockey League goes to work again. Zubov works it up to Messier, back for Zubov. Leetch on the near side. Leetch got the red line, tried to bounce it over to Messier. Carbono was there to knock it away. Carbono, one of the game's great defensive forwards. A Selke candidate always, has shown it in the short-handed unit here tonight. He has been outstanding. Held in, though. Barlev dropped it into the corner. Messier was there. He got bumped off the puck. Stepping up, J.J. Daigneault. Daigneault got it away. Short-handed, the Canadiens. Carbonneau's still out there. Dropped it offside. Guy Carbonneau brought it in. His left winger had moved in ahead of him.
You know, Brian Leetch has had to fight through all kinds of injury adversity since last year as well. Remember the neck injury? Well, 5 games back from that, and he stepped out of a cab and busted the ankle that he hadn't busted before in his right ankle. He's got 9 screws and a plate in his left ankle, 6 screws and a plate. You know the question that I should ask him? I've always wondered this, Gary. Are they Phillips head? I've always wondered.
I hope he's got that screwdriver in his back pocket then. You never can find one of those when you want them, you know. Face-off won back by the Canadiens. Sent in by Matthew Snyder, who's got a goal in this game. Power play for the New York Rangers. We were talking about Boston Bruins. They're going to be without Cam Neely. His dad has passed away, and we send along our sympathies to Cam Neely and his family at the death of his father. Power play for the Rangers. Near side, Esa Tikkanen. Tikkanen, the shot. Wah, the save. Rebound. Nemchinov knocked it wide. He's got it back. Nemchinov up the boards. Held in by Leach. Back for Gartner. Gartner trying to center. Deflects away. Near side, Tony Amati. Amati for Gartner. Nemchinov's in front of the net. Mike Keane gets the puck and clears it out. Esa Tikkanen will have to come back to get it. 35 on the power play for the Rangers. Tikkanen will work it from behind his own net.
You don't think Mike Keenan has a utility man in Tikkanen? Kill penalties, regular strength. Now he's got the point in the power play.
Their leading scorer, 24, tied with Leach coming into the night. Leach has added to it here. Shot deflected wide of Patrick Roy. Power play still underway, 15 seconds. Gardner moves in, got bumped by Matthew Snyder. Played up along the boards. Rangers trying to hold it in the zone. Gardner behind the net. Lyle Odeline gets a piece of him. Tony Amati's got it. 6 on the power play. Back for Leach. Leach, one-timer, deflected wide in front as Gardner was there. Amati hit by Lyle Odeline. The penalty is over. So the Rangers did not convert. It remains 2-2. Rangers 1 for 4 on the power play now. That's an icing call on the Canadiens. Kevin Lowe's had a great season this year as he's back in shape, really playing well.
Well, one thing hasn't changed from the first period. The Rangers are still jamming in front of Patrick Roy. Remember when we said if you came to see pretty plays on the power play, forget it? This is blue-collar stuff. Leach with a shot. He had Gardner on one side. He had Nemchinov, number 13, on the other side. To me, that's the sign of a team that is winning. Everything is in sync. And the Montreal Canadiens, for that matter, cannot expect Mike Keenan's guys, Gary, to miss defensive assignments. That turnover in the neutral zone, Jacques Demers might get one of those a game against the Rangers the way they're playing. So what do the Montreal Canadiens have to do? Patrick Roy has to hope, looking down at the other end, that his guys try to play it the way the Rangers do. Get in front of Richter, jam for the net, get some dirty goals, some garbage goals.
That's what Jacques Demers wants more of. He was quoted today as saying, we're hunting for too many nice goals. I want my guys driving to the net a little more, as we've seen the Rangers do.
They've done that tonight.
The save, rebound, bang, the side of the net by Kovalov. In the corner, Graves had it momentarily. Kovalov got it back, taken away from him on the far side. Roberge got it up. Dion will bring it out of the zone, and the Rangers will change up behind the play. Ferocious action end to end. Kozlov had it, and he'll bring it in. Kozlov for the Rangers. The shot deflected wide, and he got knocked down after he took the shot. He was looking for a call, didn't get it. Tony Amati hones it in. Amati shot, blocker save as Waugh reached out on a pretty good scoring chance. Roberge got it out of the zone. Jay Wells back, took it away from Wilson. Comes back to Wells, near side Bukaboom. Bukaboom up, Rangers on the attack. Canadians changing behind the play. Shot, Larmer, save, rebound! Tikkanen! Patrick Waugh got a piece of that. Waugh got a piece of that with a glove, and the rebound shot by Esa Tikkanen. And the Canadiens regain possession. Tough to get line changes in right now. Both these teams struggling. Guy Carbonneau's shot deflected. Schneider trying to center. Amati took it away. And back come the Rangers. Game tied at 2. Steve Larmer's got a little room. Larmer, forehand, saved by Waugh. Rebound deflected in behind the net. And Montreal's Matthew Schneider got it up but not out. Jay Wells, the shot deflected. Ferocious now. Waugh slapping away in front of the net, trying to get people out of the way. Lidster held it in. Right now, Schneider just wants to clear. He did. Mike Keane's got it. Keane charging in. Keane the shot. Saved by Richter. In behind the net, controlled by Doug Lidster. Rebound came loose in front out of the pile-up. Both teams changing it up again on the fly. Larmer directs it up and heads to the bench. Both teams half strength. Tikkanen in. Centered right through the crease. And Olchuk goes back to the point. Kevin Lowe able to hold it in, but it went by Tikkanen. 11:45 to go here in the second period. And Leclerc sets it up.
Yeehaw!
Yeehaw!
I got to go get a coffee. I'll let you know when I come back.
We've had 3 line changes and no whistle here in this midpoint of the second period. Both teams just up and down the ice and avoiding danger, as most of the time they haven't had a full complement of skaters on the ice. Zubov's got it. Both been in the middle of line changes most of the time. Trailing the play. Rangers looking for help. Defenseman. Zubov score! Zubov! 3-2 Rangers!
Boy, what a good play by Mike Hudson, number 15 of the Rangers, to take this thing wide and open it up. Eddie Olchuk, 12, went to the net. Gilbert, 17, went to the net. Uh-oh, the fourth guy in is Sergei Zubov. He dropped his right shoulder and froze Patrick Roy. The Canadiens had the first 3 guys covered. Here comes the fourth guy. That's too many. And Patrick Roy was fooled by the shoulder dropping. Terrific move, and what a play by Mike Hudson.
Zubov, as we told you, can play this game. Look at the move. That's a defenseman. The 8th leading scorer among defensemen coming into this game. Gets his second goal at 8:46 of the second period, even strength. And the Rangers are back on top by 1.
You know, Zubov was in the doghouse at the start of the year. He was out of shape, and Mike Keenan called him the worst conditioned athlete in camp. He spent the summer in Russia. The New York Rangers have said, we're going to try and change that next year. Keep an eye on him so that he trains here in the New York area.
They've already done better against Waugh than the league has thus far this season. Waugh coming in with a 2-1, 6 goals against, has given up 3. The assist going to Hudson and Lowe at 8:46 on Zubov's goal, and the Rangers are up 3-2. Messier takes it behind the net. Hope you're enjoying this one. Gary Thornton, Bill Clement. Boy, if you like action, you've seen it here. Both ends of the ice. We've had great checks, great offense. Leach starts it up. Brian Leach brings it in. Leach looking for a little help. Tried the backhand shot. It was deflected by Kevin Haller. Haller got banged by Graves, but he got it up the boards, but not out. Held in by Alexei Kozlov. Kozlov to the middle. Tried to drop it off. Haller. Kozlov got the rebound. Shot it in, but it never got in on goal. Kirk Muller brings it up. Muller pinned up from behind and knocked down. Adam Graves picks up the loose puck. Graves has picked up 1 in this game off for Kozlov. He got knocked down. He tried to stay up on that one. Couldn't do anything with it. And the Canadiens will play it back in their own end. We are midway through this second period. Loose at center. Keane had it, lost it. Picked up by Messier. Messier's pass lost in front. Sharp save. Richter. Rebound. Batted out. Couldn't get it through. Paul DiPietro had 2 great chances. Patrick Roy levels Gardner. No call. Now they call it. A delayed call as Patrick Roy stepped out on Gardner and decked him. Look at Jacques Demers, he's laughing. That was Roy's response, looking at Gardner.
That was a pretty good call, even though Mike Foy was a mile from the play. Yeah, what do you call? Now the New York Rangers are now going on a power play. They lead this game 3-2, but it was almost 3-3. Mark Messier tried an ill-advised, shall we call it, backhand pass deep in his own zone. Paul DiPietro picked it off, whacked at it 3 times, and also whacked at Mike Richter. What the heck? If the puck isn't there, slash the goalie.
So Messier happy that didn't go in. They're now being called back out on the ice here. The penalty picked up by Patrick Roy, interference at 10-10. Got a power play coming up for the Rangers, who are 1 for 4. Our Bud Light scoreboard, they're playing a defensive play game in Quebec. Devils in Quebec. Hartford's come back after they trailed 1-0 against Florida. And the late start, Detroit at San Jose. Detroit still languishing in last place in their division. So a 3-2 lead. Rangers up with the Canadiens with 9:50 to go. There's what they've done tonight on the power play. Number 1 power play unit in the National Hockey League has picked up 30 power play goals this year.
That's just about right for the Canadiens. They score a little better than 1 every 4 power plays. And the problem playing against them is that they give up a goal once in every 9 times against. They score 1 and 4, give up 1 and 9.
Gartner was cutting to the net. Couldn't get it back to him. Zubov gets the man down. Zubov moves in. Shot Messier. Save made. Mahler bats at it, and it ends up going over the glass and into the seats for a souvenir. Like he decides the better of it and turns away. 9:23 left to go. Power play underway for the Rangers. Our head and shoulders storyline from Madison Square Garden tonight, and it has been a good one. Leach, the #1 defensive scorer in the National Hockey League, is added to it with a goal and an assist tonight. Zubov, who was 8th among defensemen in scoring, has also picked up 2 points tonight. The Rangers with that 10-0-2 streak underway, the longest in Rangers history, 19 games in which a Ranger team has gone undefeated. Guess what year? It won't go away. 1940.
I know that. I don't really particularly remember that year. I know you do.
I saw that game when they lost on the 20th. Power play continues for the Rangers. Messier won the draw.
Well, they sure got a good team this year, I'll tell you that. You look at them on paper and the way they play, and you know Mike Keenan will have them overachieving. This is a contender that we're looking at here in the New York Rangers.
Strong, deep team. Deflected off Zubov and cleared out to center. Good play by Dion. Gilbert Dion knocked it away. Messier comes back to get it. On the power play this season, Ryan Leach has picked up 7 power play goals coming into this game, and Gartner has 5 to lead the team, but they've spread it out. They got a lot of people doing a lot of things offensively. Leach sends it in. Patrick Roy goes back to get it. Held it up in behind the net. Lehman trying to get it out, could not. Punched in along the boards. Canadiens try and clear. Again, they can't. Finally, knocked out of the zone by Desjardins. Canadiens trying to get a new penalty-killing unit out of the ice. 40 left on the power play. They do. Guy Carbonneau's one of them, and Carbonneau clears it up. Leach is there to knock it down. Leach pinned up, tied up. Puck came free, and Matthew Schneider sends it the length of the ice. Mike Richter back to get it. Richter looking for his 10th win of the season, 9-4-2. He, like Patrick Roy, save percentage over 900. Amati got dumped by Kirk Muller, but he couldn't control the puck. Still a power play, 15 seconds left on it for the Canadiens. Tikkanen and Graves battle with Lyle Autoline. Held in by Tony Amati. 8 seconds in the power play. Amati back along the point. Shot by Zubov deflected. Penalty is over, and we're back to even strength. Canadiens, though, unable to get the puck out of the zone. Tikkanen, even strength. Tikkanen on the near side. And DiPietro just came out, tipped that one out. Rangers 1 for 5 on the power play now, and 10 of their 25 shots have come on the power play. There's Tikkanen. Amati with a step. Shot, backhander, saved by Roy, and he's got it in the pads. 7:31 to go. Second period from the Garden in New York. Rangers 3, Canadiens 2. Gary Thorne, Bill Clement, happy holidays to everybody. Hope the travel goes well for you and safely if you're heading route and about there for the Thanksgiving turkey. 3-2, Rangers are on top, and they've changed the second Ranger goal. Messier is credited with his 8th, and Leach picks up the assist. Leach had been given the goal earlier. Messier gets it. He's got 8 on the year. And a 3-2 lead here, and we are at even strength now with a face-off in the Canadian zone. Shot by Bukaboom, saved by Roy. Rebound came out in front. Nobody's got a handle on it yet. Muller tipped it away for the Canadiens and picked it up. Kurt Muller got it up along the boards. Bukaboom came on to pin it in. Did a good job with it. J.J. Daigneault tries the other way. Gary Lehman. Lehman out there with Muller and Damphus. They have not, however, had a lot of offensive chances here. Muller had it knocked away into the zone. It'll be played by the Rangers.
You know, Gary, we've talked about how bad the ice here usually is at Madison Square Garden. How chopped up do you think it is in front of Patrick Roy right now? Every time, oh man, every time the Rangers get into the zone, it's at least a 3-on-3 battle in front of Patrick Roy. So it must be chewed up like crazy.
And obviously, if you're going to battle, maybe the game's #1 goaltender right now, and he probably is. That's how you want to do it. Muck it up in front. Canadiens trying to tie it. Shot deflected out deep by Damphus. Damphus comes over to get his own rebound off Nemchinov. Held it in momentarily. Damphus waiting now as the puck's loose along the boards. And finally will be pinned up for the face-off as Jeff Bukaboom ended up down on his knees and hung onto it. Kovalev could not dig it out. ESPN's National Hockey Night next Tuesday, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. They will finally meet again. The Washington Capitals and the New York Islanders with Dale Hunter back. For the Capitals, who are just a game under 500 right now, and Pierre Turgeon, the man who got hit by Hunter, off to a great start. He was the National Hockey League Player of the Week. 12 goals, 16 assists thus far in the season. We'll have it for you, the Caps and Islanders, Long Island, next Tuesday. Top of the circle face-off here with 6:28 left to go in the first period. One back by Asatikin, and Kevin Lowe goes back to get it. Lowe around the boards for Zubov. Zubov just flips it out to center. Tony Amati was there and ran it into the zone, then got tied up. Matthew Schneider goes back to get it. Schneider's picked up one of the goals for the Canadiens here tonight. Patrick Roy had Asatikin right there. Tikkinen had Amati out in front, tried to center it to him, but had it blocked by Schneider. New York Rangers, Graves has picked up his 16th of the season. Messier his 8th, and Zubov has his 2nd to 3. Shot deflected wide of the net. This Leclerc wound up, had nobody on him, and a penalty coming up as the Sticks get up at center ice. Guy Carbonneau being chased down. Lyle Ottolainen, one of the enforcers for the Canadiens, steps into the middle. Desjardins and Schneider have scored for the Canadiens. Penalties when we come back.
So Kevin Lowe is off for the Rangers. Montreal on the power play. We talked about the ice here at Madison Square Garden. This is brand new ice put in Sunday after the Virginia Slims tennis was here. Then last night, the boards for the Knicks were laid down over the ice. And finally, the boards were taken off after the game last night. So this is the first time the Rangers have played a game on this sheet of ice. First time this year the ice has been taken out and put back in.
Now the power play for the Canadiens, who are down a goal. Centering pass in front, jammed at by Lehman, covered up by Mike Richter. Richter, a little reaching on that one. Montreal 1 for 2 on the power play with Lowe out. They get a chance here, and Muller, Richter, and a lot of other people around the net.
Kirk Muller had Mike Richter down. The problem for Muller is that he ended up on his rear end too. See Richter? Well, you can see the stick from Kirk Muller whacking at it, but when you're lying flat on your back, it's really hard to shelf it. Really hard to get it up under the crossbar. Although with his coordination, he might be able to. I've seen Kirk Muller do some amazing things.
Going to be a new daddy. There's one amazing thing. Wife expecting again. I said, well, that's 3 more years you're going to play. Comes back to center. Graves drops it off. Short-handed. Graves in front of the net. Messier, though, could not control the puck and get it to him. Almost another short-handed chance. Muller plays it around the boards. Power play underway for the Canadiens. The Rangers are leading by a score of 3-2. Knocked away by Graves through center. Messier giving chase. Messier muscled his way in, but 2 Canadiens were there, and a penalty's coming up on Montreal. A holding call as they held off Messier, and that will deny the Canadiens a minute 20 worth of power play time.
A good second effort by Mark Messier after letting a 2-on-1 slip away from him. The puck had slipped off his stick a little earlier. There's the hold by Kevin Haller. You know, a lot of fans here still remember the standoff between Mark Messier and Roger Nielsen, who is now coaching the Florida Panthers. A standoff that Mark Messier won. And a lot of fans have not forgiven Mark Messier for that standoff. A lot of people like Roger Nielsen here. They're not arguing with what the Rangers are doing now. But combine that with the fact that Mark Messier really hasn't gotten it untracked. And we've seen signs of a frustrated Mark Messier in this game, including the 2-on-1 that he just lost the puck on. It's been a tough start for Mark Messier. He is really the only Ranger that hasn't had a terrific first 20 games of the season.
7 goals for Messier, 15 assists coming into tonight's game. So the penalty picked up by Haller creates a 4-on-4. 4 penalties for Kevin Haller now in this game. 4 minors he's picked up, and that one was very costly. One a coach won't like. Centering past the flex of DiPietro had lined up in front. 4-on-4 now. Allow Ottolainen back to get it. Rangers will get a short power play. They may not need it here. Dropped in Nemchinov, deflected by Gardner. Nemchinov taken out of the play behind the net. They do battle. Ottolainen and Nemchinov picked up by Matthew Schneider. Schneider for the Canadiens, who are down a goal with 4:30 to go here in the period. Had it stripped and cleared out. They try and hit Nemchinov up ice. Nemchinov 2-on-1. Nemchinov centered shot. Score! Mike Gardner!
Watch this play by Jay Wells. He breaks it up, and then he just lofts one off the glass. Get it out in front of your forward so they can catch up to it. And that's what Wells did.
Nemchinov and Gardner on a 2-on-1. Wham!
A 4-on-4 goal. Mike Gartner, the 6th all-time leading goal scorer, his 595th goal. Right there. He's 17 behind Bobby Hull now for 5th all-time.
He didn't have to work very hard on that one because of a terrific pass from Sergei Nemchinov. You know, up until this point and the Zubov goal, the Montreal Canadiens forced the Rangers to work for everything that they have gotten in this hockey game. Now they're starting to give them stuff, and that's the problem.
And a 4-2 lead now for the Rangers. Shot back in by Daigneault. Deflects all the way back to center. Desjardins back to get it. Gartner's 12th of the year. Offside call. Came on an even strength 4-on-4. Nemchinov and Wells pick up the assist. 15:34 the time of the goal. Among the active players, Gartner is second only to Wayne Gretzky, and we've said before, maybe the quietest 595 goals ever scored in the National Hockey League.
Well, you know, you make noise in the playoffs, don't you? And Mike Gartner has never had the good fortune of playing on a team that has done anything in the playoffs. He's spent so many years in Washington, and I don't know how much to make of it. I think the jury is still out. A lot of people say Mike Gartner is not a playoff player. That a lot of times the teams did not win because Mike Gartner did not score in the playoffs. We'll wait and see what he does this year. He's got some backing now.
A power play for the Rangers, a short one. They've got 25 seconds left on it. Leach brings it in. Leach head-manning it, bounced it off the back of the net as he tried to center. Zubov steps up. He held it in. Power play with 14 seconds left on it for the Rangers. Graves set up in front. Gartner just tipped it back to Messier. They come back to the point. Leach and Zubov. Leach leaves it for Messier. Messier looking for on the power play. Graves, the high slot. Near side, Zubov off the boards. Penalties over. So the short power play not converted on, and we're back to even strength. 1 for 6 on the power play now for the Rangers tonight. And they've got a 2-goal lead. With only 3 minutes to go, second period. Montreal Canadiens have seen the goal that got it tied up be answered, and the Rangers have added to it and have the 2-goal lead now. Both teams change up on the fly. Puck loose at center. Jay Wells dumped Kevin Haller. Haller comes back, gives Wells the little bounce. Batted with a high stick.
And you can see that their goal scoring is down just about a goal from last year. Part of it is the injuries. Part of it is that they just sputtered offensively, and they'll turn it around. Hey, listen, as far as I'm concerned, the Montreal Canadiens are in a terrific position right now. They had the 6th best record in the NHL last year and won the Cup. They're 10-7-1 coming into this hockey game, or 10-7-3 at least. I mean, what's wrong with that at this stage of the year? Nothing.
The interesting thing, Bill, their top 5 scorers last year, Damphus, Muller, Bellows, LeBeau, and Keane. Their top 5, for all 5 of them, they had career years in points. That may be a little tough to make up for. If somebody's going to step to the fore on that and either have another career year or be close to it.
Yeah.
2-on-2 the other way. Looking in front for Amati. Dropped off for Lidster to Amati. Amati the shot. Deflected wide. That one just bounced off a bunch of skates. Kovalev back to get it. Kovalev held it in, then headed to the point. Nemchinov the puck. Deflected away from him. Kovalev's got it again. Kovalev tried to work around Kurt Muller. Muller deflected. Held in. Wraparound shot. Wow, the save. Rebound. Lidster couldn't get the shot off. Amati with that last shot. Amati tipped that one high. Waugh dives, says enough of this. And the Rangers again have Mo back on their side.
Well, you talk about Montreal having guys with career years. The one thing you always have to remember, they got this guy too. Boy, he can be an equalizer. Yeah, they've gotten 4 by him in this hockey game, but Patrick Waugh is still the best there is in the game over long stretches. Boy, when you're hot, you're hot. Watch Kovalev here. Mike Keenan has to be having heart failure on the bench. 3 Montreal Canadiens right in front of him, and he tries to stick handle through them. And you know what? He got it by them. That's what I'm talking about when I say you're hot, you're hot. Mike Keenan, I know, is saying, get it deep. You don't stick handle when you've got 3 guys in your face, 8 feet inside the blue line. But everything's working for the Rangers.
Patrick Waugh, as we said, 18 starts this season, 62 last year, 67 the year before. Patrick Waugh is 26th on the all-time win list for goaltenders. You see he's been tested tonight as the Rangers have really fired. Rangers have been up about 35 shots per game. Along with everything else that's going right, they're peppering the opposing goaltenders. And they've given up the third fewest shots in the league by the opposition. Try and find a hole about the Rangers. Kevin Haller brings it in. Haller down the middle. Haller deflected, knocked down. Never got the shot off. Tried to make that one last move, and he got decked. Played by DiPietro back at center. Desjardins will send it in. Near side, Gilbert Dion. He was cut off by Gilbert. Cleared back out. Canadiens down by 2. A minute 20 left to go in the second period here at Madison Square Garden. Hard hit put on Lidster after he got rid of it by Mike Keane. But the Rangers control the puck. Gartner on the near side. Gartner, Schneider, collide. Schneider comes away with the puck. Matthew Schneider, one of the 2 goals for Montreal. Tells you something about the Canadiens, their defenseman scoring. Schneider tried to drop it off into the corner. 1 minute left to go in the period. Graves has got it. Ahead to Messier, 3-on-3. Graves now 4-on-3 for the Rangers. Down the middle, it's loose. Brian Leach, the turnaround blocked out deep. 46 to go in the period. Rushed up ice. Sent in by Ronan, and Richter had a little trouble with that one as it bounced away in the shot from center ice. Ronan trying to free it up for the Canadiens. Will get some help. Guy Carmino dropped it. Shot deflected off Gilbert. Shot, Snyder save. Rebound, and Mike Richter's got it. 2 chances for Matthew Schneider. Mike Richter said no.
Well, this is also what the Rangers have had, and perhaps it's been really underrated or overlooked. Mike Richter has been sensational. Mike Keenan alternated the first half dozen games. Glenn Healy and Mike Richter, and then he said, Mike, you're my guy. And in talking to Mike Keenan today about Mike Richter, he said that Mike Richter reminds him of the late Pelly Lindbergh, who played for the Philadelphia Flyers when Mike Keenan was the coach there. He said that Mike Richter is motivated the way I used to motivate Pelly Lindbergh, just by telling him that he's my #1 guy. He said Ron Hextall and Eddie Belfour a little different. He said I had to challenge them a little bit, saying, are you ready? Are you ready to take us this month or this week? And they'd say, yeah, you're darn right I am. Not Mike Richter. All he has to do is say, you are our #1 guy.
Yep. Mike Keenan said tonight before the game, I asked him the #1 reason why you turned that 5-5 start around. You've been undefeated since. The guy in net. That's #1. Canadiens trying to get one in here towards the end of the second period. Muller set up in front of the net. Deflects back to the point, though. Giving chase with 6 seconds left to go. They got to go back to center. Desjardins dropped it off. Sent in by Kevin Haller. The New York Rangers come up with a big second period. After a 1-1 game, it's been Schneider, then Messier, then Zubov and Gartner. The last 2 goals. Mike Gartner adding to his totals against Patrick Waugh with a #1 save percentage coming into tonight's game among the league's goaltenders. Rangers have been able to get 4 by him. Mike Gartner in his 15th season, 1,111th game played, physical and otherwise.
And he doesn't only score, he draws penalties, even though this was an odd one.
Patrick Waugh, maybe a little frustration right there. Watch Patrick Waugh. He says something to him as he goes by. Waugh kind of gave him a big blink. The next time Waugh saw him, he looked like this.
I know what he said. I'll be back.
And he was. As Gartner was able to come in a 2-on-1. Nemchinov to Gartner. Zing it home, baby. And a 4-2 lead for the Rangers. Steve Levy!
All right, Gary, thanks. And a fine impression of Arnold Schwarzenegger by Bill Clement. We'll get it back to those 2 gentlemen for third period action at Madison Square Garden in New York in just a bit. 3 other games going on in the NHL. We have scores and highlights coming up. You'll also hear from Jim Schoenfeld and Al Morganti. We'll take a look at Quebec and New Jersey, a hard-hitting affair. Zelapukin on foot from Quebec City.
Tonight's second intermission report is brought to you by Wendy's Old Fashioned Hamburgers, the best hamburgers, and a whole lot more.
And welcome back, everyone. After 2 periods of play at the Garden in New York, the Rangers lead the Canadiens by a score of 4-2. 3 other games being played in the NHL tonight, including New Jersey at Quebec. The Devils coming in have allowed the least amount of goals in the NHL, 48 in 19 games. That's about 2.5 goals a game. That's pretty good. They're holding Quebec down tonight out at Lake Colisée. The only problem is Quebec's holding them down as well. Here's the only goal of the game. Joe Sakic to Martin Jelena. He beats Martin Brodeur with about 5 minutes to play in that second period. So that's where we stand right now. The Nordiques up by a score of 1-0. New Jersey going for a club record 5th straight win on the road. Jim Schoenfeld, Al Morganti joining me here in the studio. In that first period, we talked about the toughness in the game. In this second period, intermission, let's take a look at the two goaltenders. Both backup second-string goalies, yet both of them played great.
Yeah, Steve, a couple of youngsters in the net. Martin Brodeur for the Devils, 21 years old. Jocelyn Thibault for the Nords, 18 years old. And they're both putting on a tremendous exhibition of good National League goaltending. Watch through the maze right here. Big Craig Wolanin in front. There's the tip by Millen. Thibault stays with the shot. Danico's going to try his luck. Look, it changes direction twice, makes the save, and smothers the rebound. The Devs have yet to score on Thibault. Down at the other end, Brodeur. We got Kaminsky coming in. There's one save. Sakic with the rebound, stacks the pad, and gets a little help from his defenseman clearing that puck out of the way. And Matt Sundin going coast to coast. Look at the moves coming in on Brodeur. Not tonight, partner. Brodeur with a pad save. He kind of makes it look easy. So you're talking about backup goaltenders doing a top-notch job in net tonight. All
right, then from your playing days, I imagine a couple of those winters in Buffalo, you might have not minded playing in Florida, right?
I like playing in Buffalo.
In the snow?
Yeah, I like playing in Buffalo.
Well, when we come back, there are some hockey players who are enjoying life in Miami. We'll take a look at the Florida Panthers in action tonight against the Hartford Whalers on ice. What are they doing off the ice? We'll give you a little look on National Hockey Night. And welcome back, everyone. After 2 periods of play at the Garden, the Rangers lead the Canadiens by a score of 4-2. Elsewhere in the NHL tonight, Hartford on the road. They have 1 win in their last 15 games. After 2, they're in Miami, and they are tied with the Panthers by a score of 1-1. Sanderson has scored for Hartford, Huff for Florida. Well, interesting quote from Tampa coach Terry Crisp discussing the rival Florida Panthers. He says, they clutch, hold, grab, tackle, jump, whatever it takes to get you all tied up. I love the drill where they play with 2 sticks, one in each hand, one of theirs and one of ours. We've got to practice that. Well, that's just one side of Florida Panther hockey. Here's the other side. Hockey has become a reality in South Florida, and the Panthers are having a ball.
No, it's pretty fun. Can't beat it.
We were all very happy to come down here, wouldn't you say?
I was definitely quite happy. I was thrilled. Ooh, a little snap on that, eh?
It is kind of nice to come down here and play just because we have, the distractions of hockey. We can get away from it also by going out and playing a little golf in this beautiful weather.
Go in. Go in. Oh.
They score!
Puck. Stay right there.
Into Gretzky. Oh, save by Van Baesbrook.
I'll take it. I'll take it. Absolutely.
Get up there.
There's Melleby shooting and scores.
Joe Short.
It's nice to be able to step outside and not have to put on, gloves and a big, heavy jacket and all that kind of stuff. So it's been great. It's been really fun.
Tough life out here, isn't it? Nice and smooth. Here it's a little more relaxed atmosphere. We got some good people involved, and here we are on the golf course having fun.
But when it's time to step on the ice and get serious, the expansion Panthers are no pushovers. They're in every game.
We've got a team of leaders, of experienced guys that I think don't want to lose.
Centers for Melleby, scores!
That's everybody's goal when the season starts, is to make the playoffs. And with a goalie like Baes,
we're in trouble.
It's right there.
We're in trouble.
Right there,
trouble in Dodge.
We're just playing one game at a time, and what we want to do is we want to go out and we want to play hard every night, and we want to be known as a team that's going to battle.
I think that we are a National Hockey League team, and there's no reason we have to be bad. Just because it's our first year, we have the right to win just like everybody else.
The Panthers!
Geez, I remember when it used to be bad luck to play golf before the end of the playoffs. I guess things have changed in hockey. Anyway, the Panthers, though they're in a playoffs position now, if you look at the statistics on them, they're a team that plays very close games. 12 of the 21 games decided by 1 goal or an empty net goal. 16 of the 21 tied going into the third period, or they're ahead by a goal. Tight games, playing like a team, not much offense. And what this goes to show more than anything else, the golf or anything, is look what an expansion team can do with a great goalie named John Van Beesbrook.
Shoney, last chance, Buffalo, Florida, maybe a little bit leaning towards Florida.
No, I'll stay where I am.
Buffalo. I think if I had a choice, though, I'd be headed for Buffalo. As far as our game, we're headed back to New York City. Madison Square Garden in New York, where the Rangers lead the Canadiens by a score of 4-2. Off the big hit, Patrick Waugh, Mike Gardner. Even the goalie's taking the body. Hockey on the Deuce for you tomorrow night. The Boston Bruins and Ray Bourque taking on the Pittsburgh Penguins and Jaromir Jagr. The black and gold, meet the black and gold. Then Thursday night, the Kings and the Nordiques from Quebec City. See you at 7:30 Eastern on the Deuce.
ESPN's National Hockey Night is brought to you by Visa. It's everywhere you want to be. By cold-filtered Miller Genuine Draft. Get out of the old, get into the cold. And by Hitachi.
And welcome back to Madison Square Garden, everybody. Gary Thorne, Bill Clement. A good one as the New York Rangers have taken a 4-2 lead, trying to extend their 10-0-2 streak. And during those 12 games, they've now outscored the opposition 50-26. And, Bill, we've seen in the first 2 periods how they've done it.
Well, we said that they've got it all covered. I mean, there are no holes in this Canadiens line, in the New York Rangers lineup. We anticipated hitting in this hockey game. Boy, have we seen a lot of it. Montreal has tried to match it, but they haven't been able to. Jay Wells of the New York Rangers has laid out at least a couple of Montreal Canadiens in this game. So right on target is the Rangers hitting game. What do they have that makes it easy for them to hit and really hit successfully is size. And sometimes size, when it comes in the form of Mark Messier, can't be denied when it tries to get to the front of the net. Messier scored one in the second period. Add some experience to that. This lineup, New York Rangers, as Mike Gardner finishes this, 9 players in their 30s. This was built to win the Stanley Cup, this New York Rangers team.
And we are underway as the third period begins with the Rangers leading it by a score of 4-2. We will start it at even strength. And it'll be the Canadiens who now have got to come back in this game, and that's going to be a mighty tough thing to do for a club that is averaging just 2.9 goals a game. Shot wide on Patrick Waugh as the Rangers get the first opportunity. Nemchinov had it in behind the net. Comes back up onto the point. Gilbert was unable to hold it in. And the Rangers have to regroup as the Canadiens will change it up. Just underway here at Madison Square Garden in New York, where the New York Rangers take a 2-goal lead into the third period. DiPietro tried to swing around. Nemchinov, a good defensive play on him. Canadiens are going to have to pinch in to try and pick up that goal to make it a 1-goal game here while not creating uneven opportunities the other way. Held in the zone, DiPietro. Lost it. Gilbert centered. Patrick Waugh kicked it away. Set up in front of the net was Gardner again. Wells deflected by Gardner wide. Laid up along the boards, Lyle Lodeline. Nemchinov held it in. Back to center intended for Keane. Wells is there. Intercepted Keane. Keane on the other side. Tried to center to him. Blocked by Zubov, who went down on DiPietro and Gilbert Dionne's passes and didn't allow it through. Miller, genuine draft scoring summary here in this game. Looks like this. It was Graves, 16th on a power play at 11 minutes. Zubov and Leach. Rangers 1-0 in the first period. Game was tied up by Desjardins' third, coming at 18:32 on the power play. Keane and DiPietro. Matthew Snyder got his third at 1:17. Lyle Odeline picking up the assist. Messier came back with his 8th at 2:26. Leach got the assist on that goal to tie it. Then Zubov at 8:46 of the second. Hudson and Lowe, and Nemchinov and Wells assisting on Gardner's 12th at 15:34 to give the Rangers the 4-2 lead. Essa ticketed on that faceoff, lost it as Carbonell won it, deflected in front, good save Mike Richter knocking that one away. Tony Amati trying to get it out of the zone. Esatikainen giving chase on the far side. Patrick Waugh went back behind the net to try and stop it. Could not do it. Centering pass just deflects through everybody. Doug Lidster goes back to get it. Lidster will send it right back in. The 33-year-old Doug Lidster working on defense and getting plenty of ice time for the New York Rangers. Part of that great mix they have of youngsters and veterans. There's Lidster turning on it and deflects it up along the near side boards. Canadiens back at center. J.J. Daniel right back in. Richter went back to get it. Lidster on the far side. Lidster got squeezed up, had it and lost it. Jay Wells, his defensive partner, cleared it up. Tony Amati takes the hit right on the line. Puck still sitting on the line, and they'll get the whistle. 17:20 left to go. Third period, Madison Square Garden. Rangers up by 2.
Well, the Rangers are in command of this one, 4-2. Check out Asa Tikanen's lips. It looks like his lipstick is smeared a little bit, but that is a scrape somehow, and we were told that he got stitches inside his top lip. Looks like the skin is scraped off, but it actually looks like he just kissed a pretty girl.
Thank you very much. Kevin Haller giving chase at the far end. He wishes he had, I'll tell you that, as opposed to what really happened.
Well, we were watching him during the break, and he seems to be licking that area as if to say, boy, this is kind of sore and kind of stings. But his whole top lip looks like it's pretty well scraped. Now is it gone? Maybe it was lipstick.
No, no, he's just...
No, but that red mark was gone. It may be in the corner of his mouth. He didn't have it before the game, I know that. I talked to him for 5 minutes in the hall, and he looked great.
Brian Leach has got it behind the net. Leach with 1-1 in the game tonight for the New York Rangers. Cleared out to center. Kevin Haller comes back to get it. Haller, Canadiens down by 2. These two teams tied in the first meeting here at the Garden at the end of October. The Rangers came back from a 2-goal deficit in the third period. Adam Graves at 19:50 of the third period tied that game up after they had pulled their goaltender, Mike Richter. That's the way it ended, 3-3 in game 1. Along the boards, Lehman tried to hold it in. Leach took it away and clears it to center. Here comes Messier. Messier shuts it down, waits for help, has Graves. Adam Graves, spinorama, shot, knocked away by Patrick Waugh. Held onto behind the net. Looking out in front, Messier cutting, Graves cutting. Nobody can get loose out there, though. Just held onto by Kovalev. Finally came back to Kevin Lowe. Lowe had it chipped away. Here's a 2-on-1 break the other way. Zubov back on defense. Kevin Haller coming with down boost, and it was deflected in off Zubov's stick. Knocked away by Richter. They never got a shot off on it, though. Messier the other way makes the move. He had it stripped out of his hands by Danfus. Comes back to center. Gilbert Dion, his shot wide on Richter, not on net. Held in by Lyle Odeline. Centered just wide by Dion, who tipped it, and a whistle. And I believe the net may have been dislodged, as there's no penalty here, or is there?
I don't know. One of the linesmen, I think, blew the play down, and he went over to the referee, and Mike Foy is heading to the timekeeper now. Gosh, the Rangers have come out in this period and allowed Montreal some life. A 2-on-1, pinching at the blue line, and then a couple of broken plays deep in the zone that Mike Richter had to be pretty sharp on. This little redirection from Gilbert Dion.
Well, it's the Rangers' turn to have too many men on the ice, so Richter and company will be short-handed. And Ed Olchuk will go over to serve the penalty. Both teams have added too many men on the ice in this game. Mike Keenan's club now has given them a chance to get back to within 1. Montreal's gone 1 for 3. Desjardins picked up the power play goal in the first period. Mark Messier will come out on the penalty killing unit. Messier continues to pile up enormous numbers offensively in his career. He is 12th all time in scoring. There you see what Montreal's done on the power play tonight. So the Rangers are shorthanded, but remember, they have scored a league leading 10 shorthanded goals. Adam Graves has 4, one shy of the New York Rangers season record for shorthanded goals, which is 5. Canadiens on the power play. Graves was up ice that time and almost knocked it away. Cutting to the net, DiPietro. Pass deflected, though, by Messier. Messier intercepted Desjardins' pass and sends it out. Graves hanging a little at center. Patrick Roy will hold it up behind his own net. Minute 30 on the power play for the Canadiens. Mike Keane goes by Esa-Tikkanen. He got it back. Keane brings it in himself, drops it off and heads to the net. In the middle, DiPietro backhander save, rebound loose. Keane batted at it. Could not get it in. 2 chances for the Canadiens. Rangers clear. Roy again going back to hold it up. J.J. Daniel will play it back there. The 28-year-old defenseman working one of the points on the power play. Through the middle comes Keane again. Keane the return pass, but it was outside the line.
Well, Patrick Roy is going to play a lot of hockey for the Montreal Canadiens this year. Philadelphia Flyers probably don't know it, but they get to face Patrick Roy's backup tomorrow night. That is the plan right now for Andre Rasico, who is backing Patrick Roy up tonight to play against the Flyers in Philadelphia. So gear up, Flyers, and get Mr. Backup. And I'll tell you what, that has to be a bonus. I don't want to take anything away from Andre Rasico, but when somebody tells you Patrick Roy is not going to play, I don't care who you are, you go, all right.
All right, we got at least some chance, huh? Power play underway here. 53 seconds remaining on the Ranger penalty. Cleared back out for the New York Rangers, though. They're keeping it out. Kovalev had it. Kovalev rags it. Kovalev at the blue line. He brings it in himself. The shot hit the post. Kovalev hit the post on a shorthanded chance. Zubov knocks it away at center. Richter, no man sending it in.
And we wonder why they have 10 goals. I went through that list of forwards that play on the kill for the New York Rangers. I did that in the first period. Kovalev was one of them. Gary, when he saw daylight on the right side, there were 3 Canadians that he just left behind, except for the last guy. What rockets.
Did you see the Jets?
Oh, man.
You see the smoke coming out the back. Penalty is over in 10 seconds. The Rangers, Mike Gardner's got it in the zone. Short-handed, stripped by Matthew Schneider. The Canadiens not getting chances on this power play. It is over. They're 1 for 4 on the power play. They've had only 5 shots on their 4 power plays. Leach has got it. Even strength now. Eddie Olchuk brings it up. Olchuk back in. Drops it off. Gardner the shot. While the save. Rebound. Score! Olchuk! And Olchuk! 5-2. Rangers.
Well, Eddie Olchuk started this rush. He smartly got across the blue line before he dumped it back to Mike Gardner. And what do the Rangers do? Go to the net and let her rip. Patrick Roy stopped the first one, but I think it squeezed between his legs. Eddie Olchuk smartly did not skate by the net. He stopped at the edge of the net waiting. Look at him on the left. Well, maybe it was Eric Desjardins, number 28, that actually kicked it inadvertently back over to Eddie Olchuk. But it's hard to score 5 goals on the Montreal Canadiens. It's hard.